Persephone, of course, comes back. You know, she's been abducted, she spends some time, she's changed, but when she comes back to the world, she's got some of that stuff still with her, because she's going back to that. And the whole idea of cycling and recycling and returning and in that way incorporating your past, embracing it, if you will, accepting it, becomes really important, really important. I mean, it's what we try and teach our children. Is, you know, you don't leave everything behind. Memories are part of you.
Right, rather than that terrible thing that happened to me needs to be forgotten as quickly as possible and excised from my existence. Rather than that, it's bring it.
It can't be, so don't pretend that it can be. It's always going to be there.
And Persephone also creates this bridge between the upper and underworld that, you know, didn't exist before she made that, you know, before she was abducted and made that journey through and back out. So that, you know, once that was done, now there's this, you know, the underworld needed her as much as she needed the underworld. So she changed the underworld too and made it, you know, brought a feminine energy to that place that was formerly ruled by Hades, you know, who was masculine and rule-oriented and everything by the books. And if you eat those seeds, these are the rules, you stay here, and all of that kind of thing. And she brought, you know, she brought that gray area kind of into the underworld as well. And now she makes this bridge so that that journey can be made by other people.
And goes back to her mother, but her mother has been transformed in the meantime, which is, you know, I was thinking about this in my own personal context and realizing that you leave home, you go away, and you come back and your parents are different. You know, and that is something that you only gradually come to really understand, that the mother you have when you come back as an adult is very different from the mother you had as a child. So there's that part of the myth as well that I find interesting, is what happens to Persephone's mother, to Ceres, to...
And Demeter also, I mean, she has to, you know, that's just such an acknowledgement and a testament to those of us who have to be in the upper world while our loved ones are in the underworld, and we have to hold that space for them to come back to, and we have to accept how they've changed when they come back, and, you know, be able to welcome them home and help them to reintegrate into the upper world. But, you know, one of the things about this myth that just on the most kind of top level appeals to me is just the difference between the journey of down and back up with meaning, or versus that heroic journey of out, get treasure, come back, or out, build, conquer, come back. And the two journeys are very different, but both journeys are so necessary for, you know, in order to have a rich life, a three-dimensional life. And, you know, when that hero comes back having conquered, you know, he gets a parade, and he gets a feast. And when we come back from the underworld, you know, people are glad to see us, but nobody throws us a parade for going through that, you know. Nobody's, you know, sets the table with the best silverware and invites the whole neighborhood.
That's right.
There's, you know, we're just glad that's
done. You just got a divorce and you've had a miserable 2 years. We'll talk about it. Have some more turkey.
Yeah. So that's one of the most appealing things about the myth to me, is that it acknowledges, you know, that this is a part of life, and it's as important a journey as conquering and heroic action and building.
But it is about fundamental change and coming to understand and in some way embrace fundamental change. And for me, that's the potential for powerful theater there is incredibly rich, because that's what theater is about.
Well,
go from one state of being to another state of being.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is a liminal space that we've carved out of the world. And this play takes place a lot in that liminal space. It's like time is zipping along, all of a sudden we go bam and stop this moment. And we watch this moment get protracted, and we watch these people, and they have this choice inside that liminal space. They can go this way or they can go that way. And and we're going to noodle around in that for quite a while in this play, which is great, because it's absolutely what we're supposed to be doing. There's many things we can do, but that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So you walk in our front door, and all bets are off.
Yes.
You can walk right in any number of ways, absolutely.
Yeah, happy, angry, sad, who knows, right?
Hopefully changed in
Yeah.
some small way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Persephone myth, the interesting thing about it too is that unlike other myths of, Odysseus, which is a kind of an underworld journey in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very feminine.
He goes through lots of underworlds, as a matter of fact.
Yes, and he is one of the only other. There's not a lot of characters in myth, human beings, who go into the underworld and exit back out. I mean, he does. Persephone does. But what happens in the underworld has rarely been explored in theater or novels or movies. So it's kind of virgin
It's a
territory.
strange taboo, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm
It really is.
really
We don't
excited
like
about
talking about that. We know it's there.
Oh, and I can't wait to crack that open. That's just really exciting to explore this. Yeah, to explore the relationship between Persephone and Hades, which is it's a tough one to approach because of course we don't necessarily know how anymore to look at the victim and the victim oppressor relationship, except in terms of get justice, overcome, get revenge, win, or you identify with the victim status and adopt that as a persona. But there aren't a lot of other options or ways to look at that, and so it's exciting to think about, because this myth, she doesn't win, she doesn't conquer, justice is not
And then she
served.
becomes the queen of the underworld. What does that mean? Is it just a titular relationship? He's king and she's queen, or has something indeed joined them together in some fundamental way? Is there love in that relationship?
Right.
She does go back.
Or
Indeed,
just
it's part of the bargain.
partnership,
Yeah,
or is
partnership.
it?
What
Yeah.
is it?
And then there's these other people who enter into the situation after those seeds are eaten, those pomegranates, those pesky little guys. These other characters have to enter into the situation and negotiate a contract. In order for her, they have to negotiate her release, which I just think is a fascinating thing to think about. That this isn't something where, they send in the SWAT team and the sniper takes out Hades, and he never ever harms another human, That's not how it works out.
Instead, we're going to send in, who does it? Hecate? Who does it?
Yeah, Hecate
Yeah.
or Hecate, however you pronounce her name.
She goes in as the lawyer, and we're going to have a courtroom procedural.
Yes, and of course,
Well, we're going to have
something like
a
that.
negotiation
Yeah,
at the table, with briefcases, right?
Nice.
Yeah, and Hermes has to go in, and because he's the one who can move back and forth. Demeter can't go in.
Right.
Which
But
is
Hermes is a recent graduate of Yale Law School, so he
he's-
can get anywhere, right?
Yeah. And he's a wordsmith,
Oh,
so
yeah.
he
Yeah.
can sweet talk Hades, and
Yeah, went to Princeton as an undergraduate. He must have.
yeah.